Welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be doing a fun shading technique. I thought I would just show you my workspace first of all and my audience. For this technique we're going to be needing a piece of paper, some coloured pencils and a grey graphite pencil. The first thing that you're going to do is draw a border around your sheet of paper, just the width of a ruler. This just gives you a nice area to work within. Next, choose the colours that you'd like to use, whatever colour combination you fancy. And we're going to be drawing our ribbons, some going over, some going under. Now I'll show you how to do that. This first blue one I've drawn, that's going to be on the top. Now this one is going to go underneath. So when I get to the blue one, I'm going to hop over it. I'm not going to draw through it, and I'm going to carry on drawing on the other side. You can see I'm drawing double lines because obviously I'd like to colour in and shade. You're going to fill your paper up with as many ribbons as you like. This shading technique is to show depth in your work so that it doesn't look flat. You can see I'm going top to bottom, right to left, whatever you fancy, it's your creation. Let's talk about the shading technique we're going to use today first of all. I'm just doing this in grey graphite so that you can see it, but you're going to be colouring your artwork with coloured pencils. You can see the one that I've drawn underneath. I'm going to shade that. Where it goes underneath, that is going to be the darkest point of my shading on both sides underneath, because the one on top casts a bit of a shadow on it. So those are the darkest points. Now there's two ways we can do this. The one is called scumbling. It's basically drawing lots of little circles. You'll notice that my pencil doesn't lift off the page. At first I go very lightly and then I build up. I'm going to speed this up now so you'll see I'll be drawing or scumbling on top of one layer on top of another layer until it gets darker and darker at the point right next to, there you go, right next to the edge there. Until I'm happy with that. This is what scumbling looks like, not in sped up. So it's just squiggles drawn, scribbles drawn over one another. Now let's talk about another technique called feathering. This is my pencil does lift off the page. I'm basically drawing lots of little lines next to one another. Very, very lightly at first, and then as I layer it, I get darker and darker. This has been sped up again, and I keep working on it until the edge where I'd like it to be the darkest is darkened up more. You can see how my pencil comes off the page. I'm doing strokes next to one another. So these are the two techniques that we're going to be using, but in coloured pencil. So I'll start with the first one. On either side of that, I'd like to make those my darkest points. And I start by scumbling a little bit, just to fill in some colour. I'm extending the colour along the edges as well. But at first I'm going very, very lightly. I'm just tickling the paper really with, I don't want to lay down a lot of colour. If you'd like to achieve good colouring effects, the big trick is to layer and layer and layer. If you press too hard to start with, the paper can't actually accept any more colour. This has all been sped up now because I don't want you to sit and watch me colouring in. I'd like you to do your own. But just to give you an idea, when you colour as well, colour in the direction that you want the ribbon to go. So colour along the edges of the ribbon. And when you feather, you'll notice that my feathering goes in the direction I want the ribbon to go, or the direction it's been drawn in. We want to leave a white space on parts of the ribbon as well. That would indicate a place where perhaps the light is hitting it. You can see I use a technique, I switch between the two techniques, between scumbling, which is drawing your little circles, and then feathering. Now the rest of this piece of artwork has been sped up quite a lot, just so that you can follow along if you'd like. But it's just to show you how one way that you could finish it off. Notice how I keep building up the layers of colour. I jump around and go back to places and keep darkening up and then switch backwards and forwards between different areas. As always, if you do one of these, please share it. I'd love to see your work. I love to see how people interpret things differently, and everybody has a different way, different colour schemes they'd like to use, different designs they like to use. At the end of this video, I've also got a couple of different examples of different colour schemes that I've put together. When you're finished and you're happy with your colouring, you can rub out with an eraser, rub out the border. I really hope you've enjoyed this with me. As always, please share your work. I'd really love to see it. Let's have a look at some of my different examples. Those were just fatter ones. Different colour scheme with some orange and blue and the magenta. I had fun with this. I chose the colours of the rainbow. And those are Bauhaus type colours. As always, I hope you'll join me again. Thank you for watching.